environment. I do want to thank the DEC for having this public hearing. It's extremely important. I want you to know I've spent 29 years looking at cleanup plans and assessing them. I've been involved and engaged in some of the largest environmental cleanups in Suffolk County's history. The Bayshore manufactured gas plant site, Brookhaven National Laboratory, 7 toxic plumes, all of which are being remediated or have been remediated. So it's from that vantage point, as someone who does this for a living, that I offer these comments to the DEC to improve this plan. First and foremost, this plan is dangerously weak. This is a substandard plan. This plan is designed to cover up the problem and not clean up the problem. It is unacceptable from a community's point of view. Why do I say that, you may ask? I will tell you. Number one, it doesn't protect the groundwater. This plan calls for a mere 2 wells south of the park to test the groundwater. One south of the recharge basin, one south of the soccer field. That's unacceptable. That's, the contamination may in fact bypass 1 well south of the recharge basin. You need 3 wells south of the recharge basin, 3 wells south of the soccer field in order to adequately test the groundwater for contamination. What else, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. Soil samples. This plan goes so far as to suggest that in the soccer field, after excavation has been completed, they should only have 5 samples in a 4-acre soccer field. And if those 5 samples come out clean, well, come on in, children, and play. That is not acceptable at all. Children, as you know, are the most vulnerable populations, right? Their organs are still developing, their respiratory rate is quicker than us, and the chemicals that we hear only from news reports, because apparently we're not allowed to have the data, but the chemicals that we hear are in here are pesticides that were banned in the 60s. They were banned because they had neurological impacts, reproductive impacts, and immune system impacts. We have chemicals in here, asbestos, which give us heart respiratory ailments. Petroleum products, same thing. So you don't just take 5 samples in a 4-acre field and tell children, go play. All right? As responsible parents and community workers, we're not accepting that. Recharge basins only calling for 3 samples. Again, totally unacceptable. In addition, we need to make sure that during the cleanup of this site, there are monitors around, air quality monitors around the facility. As was pointed out by Assemblyman Ramos, currently the plan only calls for 2 monitoring stations. The wind blows in 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. That's called nature, okay? So as it's blowing, we need to ensure it is not getting off-site. If it is, we need to know so that the work can stop. We do not and cannot accept asbestos, once again, blowing across the neighborhood. Because I guarantee you that when that stuff was being dumped over a 9 or 10 month period, there were airborne particulate matters that have drifted over the community, and we have to make sure it doesn't happen again. So the bottom line is the current version of the plan is woefully anemic. It doesn't protect water, it doesn't protect air, it doesn't protect the soil, it doesn't protect the children that will come back into that park. We have submitted detailed comments to the DEC, and we need the DEC, and we're relying on the DEC to strengthen this plan. We should not have been offered the weakest plan. We should have been offered the strongest plan, one that is truly one that protects our children. This is the most egregious dumping of toxic waste in a park in the history of Long Island. And yet, we get a 17-page plan that an intern in my office could have written a better plan, and we would have charged 0 and just done it as a public service. You should get your money back as taxpayers in the town for what was produced here that was paid for. I have to tell you, this is pathetic. It's upsetting to me. I want to say one other thing. I have never, in 29 years, been asked to comment on a plan with no scientific data. How are we supposed to comment on a plan with no scientific data? The DA is saying it'll impede their investigation. Well, what about our investigation? What about our need to have the best plan? Our saying in our office is good science plus good common sense yields good public policy. This plan has neither. We don't know what the science, they won't tell us. It's bad public policy, and we got a bad plan. We're relying on the DEC to fix it, take the public comments, and to take this as an example that can be emulated for other parks and other communities, but we want to start with our community and this community. Thank you very much.